And joining us now, Republican Policy Committee Chair Senator John Barrasso. Senator, it's good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you.
We've got the basic outline of what's happening. I don't know whether you are in a position to fill in some of the blanks or at least provide some color. McCain's coming back. Does that mean that vote, his vote, will bring this to a debate? Are you confident that's what's going to happen? You got the votes?
Well, I'm confident. I'm committed to it. We're going to meet today at noon. The vice president will be joining us, and then we will vote after lunch on this motion to proceed to what's actually passed the House, and that will begin the legislative process. I am so delighted that John McCain is coming back. You talk about somebody with courage and with character and with credibility. I mean, that is John McCain. People are going to be just so happy to see him. I'm glad he's here engaged in the fight.
I've seen it said, Senator, that whatever it is today that's voted on is just a vessel to get to the debate where there'll be amendments and everything else. But can you give us anything? I mean, it's not a clean repeal because I assume that Murkowski and Capito and some of the other senators that wouldn't go for that, I don't think that they look like they were ready to turn. So it makes me think maybe you got Mike Lee and Senator Moran from Kansas. Are they on board now, do you know, with some type of repeal and replace that you had before?
Well, the first vote, of course, is to just get to the debate on the floor, which is the House-passed bill. And that can be amended. I was in the Wyoming state legislature for a long time. You know, this is what legislation is all about. You then offer amendments, and I am sure someone will offer the amendment to repeal the whole thing. Someone will offer an amendment to proceed to the Senate bill that we've been working on, which actually lowers premiums by 30%, a replacement bill that protects the most vulnerable, the people that Medicaid was set up for in the first place, and to actually give people more freedom and flexibility by getting the power out of Washington and back to the states. And that's what I'm proposing right now.
You couldn't do just moving it to debate last time. Who has turned?
Well, this is just a motion to proceed to debate the bill. We've been saying for 7 years that we need to repeal and replace this.
And it'll be the House version.
You move to the House version. I mean, that's what the legislation is all about. We're using the budget process, as you know, so you have to pick up what passed the House. That's the starting point, and then that's where the amendments come. So we will vote on many amendments, and it's a bipartisan process. Republicans will offer amendments. Democrats will offer amendments, some to improve the bill. Some may want to put on amendments that would kill the bill. But ultimately, you get the final amended product and then vote up or down on what that final product looks like. My goal is affordable health care for the American people. That's what's been promised. But look, Democrats from Bill Clinton to Bernie Sanders will all tell you that Obamacare failed in its basic promise. Prices have gone way up. Individual control has gone down. Choices have gone down. And the cost to the taxpayers have been extraordinarily high.
So, Senator, one of the things that everyone has talked about with the pros and cons of doing this reform is Medicaid and access to health care. Can you talk a little bit about what you think can be compromised in order to get a bill done?
Well, you're absolutely right, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that some states expanded Medicaid, others did not. I'm from a state that did not. But as a doctor, I will tell you, Medicaid was set up primarily to affect and help people who are most vulnerable, low-income women, children, and people with disabilities. Well, with Obamacare, it expanded Medicaid and paid bonuses for states to sign up able-bodied, working-aged individuals. My goal is to get those people on regular insurance, and we have that in the Republican bill. But what we found out with this Medicaid expansion is it's crowded out those who are the most vulnerable, because now there are so many people on this expanded Medicaid that 1 out of 3 doctors won't take new Medicaid patients, which means it's harder for those the most vulnerable to get to see a doctor in the first place.
It's also hard for the hospitals who wind up picking up the tab for the non-pay on Medicaid as well. I mean, it can be up to 20% for hospitals, and they still have to give treatment. So it's there's a lot of puts and takes, I know, going on here. Is there a way to maybe ease out from those states that have actually implemented the Medicaid part of Obamacare to make it less painful for them to make the transition?
Well, that's why I'm happy with the Senate bill, because the House bill just abruptly stops the transition and doesn't really provide for a smoother transition. I support a smoother transition for those states and specifically for those people so they can get on regular insurance. There are people that have been left out under Obamacare that are included in terms of the ability to buy actual health insurance under the Republican plan.
I know you're focused on this, Senator, but you can do more things than just this at once. The president this morning has got some different things that he's interested in, and one is more talk about Attorney General Sessions, which it doesn't seem like he has the confidence of the president at this point. Do you have any insight into what is likely there? Even one of your colleagues, Senator Cruz, has been mentioned as a possible replacement. Do you know anything?
Not any more than has been reported, but I will tell you I worked with Jeff Sessions for 9.5 years in the Senate. He is one of the most honest people you would ever know. He is a man of very high integrity, and he is an Eagle Scout. And I know the president was with the Boy Scouts yesterday. To me, Jeff Sessions embodies all of the things that are great about Boy Scouting and Eagle Scouts. So Jeff Sessions has my confidence.
Senator, would you therefore encourage the president to stop the tweeting and the commentary?
The president will speak for himself. I'm focused today on health care, affordable health care for the American people. That's where the efforts are today. I'm continuing to work with my colleagues to get to the 50 votes that we need this afternoon to proceed to the House-passed bill. And I know Vice President Pence will be here if it's necessary to break a tie.
Good. So get there so we can do tax reform, too. That's important to the American people.
Well, tax reform, infrastructure.
Yep.
Obviously, the president has been very successful at eliminating so many of the burdensome regulations that were out from the past administration. And I was home in Wyoming this past weekend, and I continue to hear that we're hiring more people. People are getting put back to work, and a lot of it has to do with eliminating these expensive, time-consuming regulations.
Hey, Senator, who came up with the new Democrat platform? Was that Schumer himself, the better deal, you know, you guys worried? I don't know about it. 18 and 20 at this point. You guys worried?
You know, this resistance movement out among these Democrats and really, you know, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren have taken over driving the train for the Democrat Party way to the left. They're for, you know, British-style health care system. And they even blocked, and I will tell you this as a guy from Wyoming, they blocked the National Day of the American Cowboy, which is we've done it for the last 12 years, but the Democrats have even blocked that. They are blocking everything. We need to get beyond this. The country needs to move ahead, and I'm focused on jobs, paychecks, prosperity for the American people.
That hurt from being from Wyoming. That's low, Senator. You're right. That is low. No cowboy day. Anyway, that affects you more than a lot of the others. Anyway, we appreciate it, Senator Barrasso. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
He's a great politician and a great American.